creating this home of safety in your body creates a sense of presence and peace and wholeness. And a lot of the anxiety we feel in life is because we're going to multiple situations and relationships and feeling unsafe, feeling like someone might abandon you or betray you or hurt you or any of the above. And so when we can say to ourselves, like, no matter what, I am safe. And that means physically, and that also means mentally and emotionally.
Welcome to the Prosperity Playground, the podcast where business meets energetics, strategy meets soul, and prosperity becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Anna Lozano, mom, founder, investor, mentor, and energetics in business expert. This is your weekly activation to rewire how you think and feel about wealth, success, and personal power, because it's not about working harder, it's about regulating deeper, aligning stronger, and receiving wider. You don't hustle for your future, you calibrate to your higher self. Join me weekly for high-level conversations with the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders. True prosperity isn't just about money. It's about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Welcome to the playground. Let's build your most prosperous life. I'm so grateful to welcome you back to the show. My guest today is incredible, and I have an intuitive feeling that you will feel more grounded after this soul conversation. Krista Williams is a co-founder of Almost 30, a global community and brand dedicated to empowering individuals through life's transitions. As a co-host of the critically acclaimed Almost 30 podcast, she is a leading voice in spirituality and wellness. She also co-created Morning Microdose, a top-rated daily inspiration podcast. Krista leads luxury retreats and has helped thousands through her courses, The Life Edit and Metamorphosis. Her first book, Almost 30, a definitive guide to a life you love for the next decade and beyond, co-written with her co-founder, Lindsay, is out now. This episode, friends, is an invitation back into the magic that's accessible to all of us when we stop proving, gripping, controlling, and forcing. We start with a powerful opening prayer and move into signs, synchronicities, and how to stay in conversation with God. We dive deep into nervous system safety as the doorway to peace and real self-trust. And we talk about being fully expressed and living in integrity and how that'll change your life and your relationships. If you love the episode, reach out on Instagram. Let me and Krista know what resonated. Leave a review on our shows and share it with your biz bestie who's praying for this message today. All right, let's dive in. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome to the Prosperity Playground podcast. I'm so grateful you're here.
I'm so excited. I feel like we're just going to have a great time today, and I feel so honored to be with you and your audience. I know they're amazing, competent, powerful people, so I just feel really lucky, and I know we're going to have a good time.
We are. I wanted to kick off because I was taken back to when you were on stage with Sam Skelly at Women in Wealth. That's when I really got to feel your heart, which was so beautiful. And I remember you posted a reel with you praying with Sam before going on stage. So I would actually love for you to take the stage and actually open this up, connected to Source, if you're open to doing that.
This is my ultimate dream and my ultimate desire, and I would love to. And just for the audience listening to know, they can feel into whatever feels true and right for them. I use the word God. I had to reclaim God through just getting rid of religious programming and all of that. And my intention really is to just guide and direct our energy to the highest vibrational opportunity and frequency possible. And so just honoring their souls and where their paths are. So taking a deep breath in, sighing it out, and just allowing the shoulders to just drop away from the ears, just releasing the feeling and pressure that there's anything to do but to be ourselves. And just allowing the energy to land in the body here. And the stomach to soften. And just calling on God, calling on the Creator above to be present with us through this process, through this exploration, this deep dive, this conversation led by curiosity, led with heart, led with truth. And just reminding our souls to enjoy the process of its unfolding, of where it will go, hoping it reaches the people that need it the most. just aligning our light and our lives to service to the ultimate and highest truth, and sending love and blessings and prosperity to both our souls and every single one that is joined in the collective consciousness of the prosperity playground. Asking God to just move through us today in a way that feels good and true. And just taking one last breath in. Sigh it out.
So good. Thank you so much. And I feel this is so important because you were just coming off a client call. I just had a podcast recording and I felt it. And we started this conversation talking about signs and synchronicities. So let's reveal this. We were talking about butterflies, and it's like sometimes what I said is I'm like, we can't make this shit up. Like when you live in alignment, this is what transpires. So share a little bit about the behind the scenes we were talking about.
Yeah, so I got on the riverside and I see her beautiful butterfly symbol, and I'm just like taken aback because that's been really my sign for the past, 2 years since my divorce. During my metamorphosis, I just felt like I completely died and was reborn. And recently I've just had so much more butterfly symbolism, and I was telling her about a client session I just had, and in the client session, in our meditation, I'm sort of in her energy and getting signs and messages and symbols, and most of the messages I shared with her, but sometimes I keep them to just let it percolate and see if it's relevant or pertinent later on. Like I just want to kind of check. And I got just the field of butterflies just falling and crawling, and just like it was like this like butterfly cloud that I was in, and it was so stunning. But I almost had a judgment about it. I was like, this is basic, this is for you, like, and I had that judgment of my intuition and the message. And when we were talking, she just stretched and she lifted up her arms, and on the back of both of her arms, which I've never seen before, she has 2 giant butterfly tattoos. And I'm like, oh, baby, I have to tell you, I was seeing the butterflies today. And she's like, I got these butterflies tattoos after my dad died, and it's the anniversary of his death today.
Wow.
And I just was like, oh, wow, I just am so grateful for the gift. And I think what else we were kind of landing on, and I want you to share the story of your butterfly, symbol, but was I think my mind tries to make so much sense of the symbols. It's like, okay, so your dad is here and he wants to talk to us, and this means this. And sometimes I'll see symbols and I'm like, oh, that means I have to do this thing. And it's like, sometimes just allowing yourself to be in the presence of the magic of life and like the beauty of experiencing things is the whole thing. And so kind of for me, I'm like sort of trying to try on what it feels like to take off so much meaning making of all the symbols we see.
So do you, when that comes in, because it's so fascinating how the mind and logic just tries to take over rather than like being in this essence of these signs and synchronicities and everything coming through from source and God. So like, how do we even put, like, without actually putting meaning to it, but allow that to guide us more so than not? Like, how do we live more in that magic?
I think people think with symbols and signs that they only get one chance and opportunity. So in this case, with the butterflies with my client, in my previous life, I'd be like, oh, the butterflies passed and I didn't say it, and now it's over and now the magic is gone. But now just remember, like I remember I'm in a conversation with the universe. I'm in a conversation with God. It is an every moment process. It can begin anew. So I see the butterflies, and even I say to myself, I hear the judgment of this doesn't mean anything, let it go. And I say to myself, God, if I'm meant to share something with her, just make it known, make it clear, make it obvious. And so when we see signs or symbols, you can ask yourself or your intuition, like, what feels true for me right now? Like, what am I noticing about my life? You can feel into your body, like, how does my body feel? Who am I with? What am I experiencing? What am I going through? And then you can also say, like, show me another sign. It doesn't need to be that addictive, like I always need a sign or a symbol, but you are allowed to be in conversation with this co-creative energy of God and of the universe, and you are allowed to be shown in magical, creative ways. In A Course in Miracles, I love it so much because it talks about the concept of miracles and magic, and there's no hierarchy of miracle. If you want to get cancer cured, if you want to, get $1 million, if you want to have your house saved, if you want to, save a relationship, there's no hierarchy for what God can do in your life. And so reminding ourselves that with signs and symbols, they're always available, they're always coming to us, and there's no shortage or scarcity of them. And so there's no reason for us to hold tightly or to grip or to make so much meaning, because we can always be available for them.
Yes. And I feel like when we hold tightly or grip, we literally
Yeah,
disconnect ourselves. Like that's that
totally.
point where like, okay, this is what's happening. Okay, I'm being human right now and it's okay. How do I plug back in? Do you have a practice that you
Mhm.
go back to frequently to
Mhm.
stay connected? Because I think like
Mhm.
we can literally live in the zone of miracles more often than not, but it takes
Mhm.
practice.
Hmm. Yeah, I do, and I encourage everyone to, be creative about their own
Yeah.
practice, because all of my friends, I would say, probably have different. My dear friend Sahara, hers would be embodiment, dancing, twerking,
Mm.
all of that. I have other friends, it's like reading the Bible. I have
Yeah.
other friends, it's like looking in their dog's eyes. For me, one of the biggest, easiest ways I can get in my channel and my vortex is by listening to gospel. I
Okay.
love gospel. The energy, the frequency, the sound, the intention, the magic behind it, like bands like Elevation Worship, Maverick City Music, like just Joe Barnes, like Brandon Lake, so beautiful. And again, I'm not deeply religious, but I just follow what feels good for me, and I just remove any meaning making in addition to that. And I just find that, 2 to 3 minutes of gospel, you could even listen to like Desiree, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, whatever gets you in your vortex uniquely, I think you should really use and kind of have that maybe in your notes app as like your prescription. Like, this is my
Yes.
prescription for a good day. This is what I know to be true about getting in my body and about getting in the magic and miracles when I feel like I've lost it, because we all lose it. And I will even say, to share a vulnerable story, I think the past month or so, I've been completely out of my magic and miracles vortex. I was really dysregulated in my nervous system from travel, from different experiences, from work, and all of this kind of stuff. And it's really hard to
Yeah.
experience magic when you are dysregulated in your
Yeah.
nervous system. So I do believe that it's almost a requirement of magic and miracles to be in the experience and the calm of your physical body and your nervous system, or else you're going to be in a state that's more hypervigilant and more like
Hmm.
attuned to the 3D than the magic. And so I do believe that nervous system regulation and being in your body is not essential, but is a really big part of the formula that's going to support you in being available for that.
Yeah. So we're wired for survival. Do you feel so,
Mhm.
nervous system work, we over the last year, I would say 2 years, we've been hearing a lot about it. Do you feel for you, like when you started doing this work, is it
Mhm.
something like, especially with like nervous system and being able to
Mhm.
hold growth and expansion and transformation, is it something that you're consistently creating a new like baseline layer of? Like, is that your experience with
Mhm.
this? And then you know when you're out of sync, like out of tune, out
Mhm.
of alignment?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Um, I love Gay Hendrix's work. He talks about that window of tolerance basically for joy and happiness and love. And for a lot of us, we are born into this experience of only having the capacity for so much love, so much grief, so
Yeah.
much joy. And a lot of our work is expanding that capacity for emotion, for joy, for the human experience. And I do believe that's a lot of, energy field work, but it's also nervous system work. My nervous system having the capacity to hold deep joy and presence and freedom and experience in addition to deep grief and feeling and all of these things. And so I do believe that it is like expanding it and working with it in a way that allows it to be flexible and allows it to be fluid. And for me, I think about the nervous system, but I kind of just think about the body, because sometimes
Yeah.
it's easier just to kind of be connected to the body. And what I've known to be true is that the more in my body I am, the more powerful I am, the more loving I am, the more present I am. And I think for someone that struggled with my body my whole life, just disordered eating and over exercising and all of that, it was my whole life was getting out of my body. I didn't want to be in my body. I didn't feel safe in my body. I didn't feel at home in my body. And that is when I gave my power away. That is when I gave my purpose away. And the more we can sort of focus on how can I regulate and be in a state where my body feels safe and I feel at home, and allow
Mm.
that to be sort of the baseline for whatever experience comes, whether it's joy or
Yeah.
grief, then we can be present and fully embody and live through that. and have ourselves be ready to take on more joy and more miracles from like a body and nervous system state.
Yeah, I love that you go to both because this is the human experience and it's like this wide range of joy and grief. And depending on what you're experiencing in your life, you may have to hold both at the same time. And yet, sometimes we just hear it's about like the joy part of it, but the human experience is both. So when we speak of physically, like what does that feel like for you personally? And like, is it through breath work or is it through, like you mentioned gospel, like how do you get to that place of feeling the safety?
Gosh, safety in our body, I'm working still on it because there's so many
Yeah.
layers in our lives of where we're denied our own safety in our bodies, whether it's we've been violated, we've had sexual abuse, we've had physical abuse, emotional abuse, even like psychic abuse can feel like in the body. So
Yeah.
there's so many ways that we've been moved out of our body constantly with EMFs, with it's just, so it's a constant coming back into safety within my body. But I really started doing work on feeling safe in my body when I was working on healing the relationship with my body after my disordered eating journey. And I realized that because I didn't feel safe in my body at all, I was overeating. I had this toxic relationship with food and working out, and I was almost running from my body. And so
Yeah.
creating safety for me in my body can look very simple, for anyone that wants to do it. And the reason why we do it is because creating this home of safety in your body creates a sense of presence and peace and wholeness. And a lot of the anxiety we feel in life is because we're going to multiple situations and relationships and feeling unsafe, feeling like someone might abandon you or betray you or hurt you or any of the above. And so when we can say to ourselves, like, no matter what, I am safe. And that means physically, and that also means mentally and emotionally. And so physically, I can say, I'm safe right now. We're on a call. I'm at my house. The door is closed. I'm safe. And my mind can think that, but my body may be saying something else. And then mentally and emotionally, that looks like being available for whatever my body wants to express or say to me. And so maybe that's saying, I'm tired. I don't want to work out. And my mind is not going to, my mind's not going to like that. It's going to say, we have to work out. We work out 5 days a week. That's, all these things. And the safety of allowing the body to have its own opinion and to be respected in that. And so my body can be like, okay, I don't want to work out. I'm like, ooh, a part of me really feels like going to the gym is the move. And everyone's growing their glutes this year. And everyone, they're on their 75 hard and everyone else is like on Instagram. They're at the gym. It's like, ooh, okay, body, you are safe with me to like have your own opinion and I trust you. It's like it is safe. I'm not denying you this truth of how you feel. And so when we can think about, I'm going to create safety in my body physically, I'm going to touch myself and hold my body and just keep my hands on my body and just feel my physical body and tell myself that I'm physically safe. I can look at 3 things in the room and just clock the room. Or I can tell myself in my mind, like, body, you are safe to express. Hey, I'm uncomfortable with that person. I don't feel safe when I'm in that room. I don't like being at a desk all day. I don't like being in a cubicle. Like, I can listen to and metabolize the truth of what my body's sharing with me, and it can feel safe to express because it knows that maybe for the first time in my life, I'm going to start listening to it.
So beautiful. I think this is the thing. We haven't asked those questions for so long.
We
For
don't
so
want to
long.
know.
We don't want
Yeah.
to know. And that remembrance gives permission. And then we go back to the beginning of this conversation. That's how we tap back in and tune back in and reconnect and allow for that joyous experience to emerge. But it's a journey. So we will
Yeah.
come in and out and continue going back to this place of asking the questions.
Mhm.
So you have built a very successful brand, almost 30, but you've also had a deep transformation and also very public.
Mhm.
So I'd love for you to take us on your journey because when you started almost 30, you were in a very different, obviously, stage of life
Mhm.
and you've grown and evolved. But I think the piece here is you've done it publicly, which holds
Mhm.
a whole other level
Mhm. Mhm.
of energy that you have to hold. So I'd love for you to take
Mhm.
us through the process.
Yeah, I would love to. And for, anyone that doesn't know my story or my background, so started almost 10 years ago with my best friend on my closet floor with her. just at our rock bottom. I hated my body. I hated my career. I felt lost. I felt like at that point I should have been married with kids and a job I loved with a house and a home and no debt and all these things. And Lindsay felt the same. And so at our rock bottom moment, we were like, we can't be the only ones that feel this way. And so we started our podcast really vulnerably talking about the process of becoming almost 30. And then almost 30 became the brand and the business. And so I've been very publicly sharing about my life and my experience over the past 10 years. And, I've never intended to be someone that shared my process and shared my growth and my journey. But one concept that I really love that I'm hopeful will resonate with your audience is from C.S. Lewis. And C.S. Lewis wrote Chronicles of Narnia, but he was also like a Christian mystic in a way. And he has this concept that he talks about called the chosen ones. And it doesn't mean you're better or worse than anybody, but I love the chosen ones because it's this group of souls that comes to earth. And a lot of their process is to go first. And so that means they go through a process of getting divorced like me. And then they teach other people who are going through that process, maybe 2 years later, a year later, how to go through that process consciously and how to heal. And so I am someone that is going first in a lot of ways. So whether that's healing my mother wound, healing codependency, quitting drinking, going on a darkness retreat, getting divorced, having a body transformation, starting a business with my best friend, sharing and expressing myself vulnerably and honestly in public. There's so many different things. But I've always been someone that has to embody and experience something before I teach it. And so it's a lot to hold. And I've had really tough moments. I remember in my divorce process, my family found, a Reddit thread about me and my marriage. It was like speculating why we got divorced, all these things. And honestly, it's okay for people to be curious. Like that makes a lot of sense to me. I think it's normal. So, but at that time it really hurt. I was like, wow. And he didn't choose to be famous or be someone that's public. And so that hurt me for him. And, just kind of like, wow, I didn't realize that I'm being talked about and perceived and all of these things. So it's beautiful because I get to help women and heal women and work with women. And then it also has tough parts. You're getting a lot of good, and then there's also some messy things. And I think I've really had to more deeply come into the truth of who I am and how I feel and the ownership of this is my experience. So everything they're perceiving about my relationship is okay because I know the truth and I know what happened and I'm okay with that. And so the less doggy paddling I did of, well, if they only knew that like he, or like, oh my God, I wish that, and, just taking my energy back to my reality and my truth, the better I feel mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and the more I can serve.
And were you always this connected? Like, because you're very grounded, you're very connected, but through the process, is this a muscle you built, or it's just always been an embodiment for you?
Yeah, and thank you. I'm not always, when I was talking about last month, I was unregulated. I was like at lunch with my boyfriend and he was on his phone for 10 minutes and I just start bawling. I'm like, we're gonna be the couple that's never walking at lunch, he looks up and he goes, whoa. I'm like, so I have my moments too where I am not in my best and in my thing, but afterwards, the difference in what makes me more grounded and more embodied is the fact of my bounce back rate. I cry at that and I go to the bathroom. I'm like, hey, I need a moment, babe. I'm crying. I go to the bathroom and I just hold myself. And I'm like, babe, whoa, how are you doing? Like, what's coming up? I'm scared we're going to be the couple that's not talking at lunch. And he's, he wasn't even paying attention to you. Like, is this going to, are you guys going to break up? Like, and I'm like, okay, girl. And I'm just letting myself be in my process.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I hear you. I see you. And I'm just like, I got you. It's okay. Like, it's okay to have this experience. I regulate myself. I go out. I share vulnerably, honestly, and truthfully. We can come to a deeper connection. And then I just forgive myself. I'm like, babe, it's all good. I love you. He didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. I just had a moment. And so the way that you become more grounded and embodied in yourself is not being perfect, is not like doing all the work all the time. It's just loving yourself even when you mess up, loving yourself even when you're struggling, loving yourself even when it feels like you don't want to. So even when I was dysregulated last month, I was like, oh, baby, like, I love you. Like, I know that there's a better way and I know we want to get in our body, but like, even in this feeling of feeling out of your body and out of your truth, I love you. And that sort of love, inner mothership, self-ship, creates this like not running of your energy and not distracting or dilution of your energy. Because when we're like, no, don't feel that way, you were bad, you were crying, actually he's going to leave you, and then you were like a freak, and you guys are now going to fight, and that's all of your energy running away from you,
Yes.
rather than bringing it in to you and being like, it's all okay.
I think that's huge. We forget to do this. Like, I'm a mom, I have two girls, 7 and 9, and I will do that with them. But when it comes to myself, like you've done this several times where you just hug yourself and you're like, you're okay, you're safe. And it's just so grounding and nurturing and nourishing. And it takes what, 3 minutes,
I think we
four,
want to
five?
run from the things that are
Yeah.
simple, like,
Yeah.
and I've known this. I mean, don't get it twisted. I've been in this space for 15 years of wellness and spirituality. I've tried every tool, I've done everything, I've interviewed every expert, I've been given access to all the biohacking, all the science, all of that. And it's always been simple. It's always been drink clean water, have good friends, get connected to nature, have a higher power, connect and love your body. It's like have a purpose. It's like, and it is like, okay, Krista, what if it was this? What if it was just saying yes to yourself when you want to say no? What if it was just holding your body and loving yourself? And I think for anyone that wants to do the work of being more embodied and more grounded, I think there's the physical part of supporting your body in that. So getting in the sun, going on walks, grounding in the earth, taking a salt bath. And then there's the mental, getting a therapist, having a coach, having someone that, like a person that you can co-regulate and be with and kind of ground and remind yourself of who you are. And then there's the spiritual work of, I know why I'm here. I know that I'm here for a purpose. I know that I'm co-creating my life with something bigger. And I think until I really got in my God, I was kind of just like, oh my God, okay, it was all me. I'm like, oh, I have to create this, and I have to do this, and I have to. It was all me, and now I'm like, no, it's actually not. Like, there's my desire and my will, and then there's God's, and I can just relax into that, and I think that creates a softening that is just unmistakable.
Unmistakable. Let's talk about that. When did you go back to God? Like, and also publicly, right? Because
Yeah.
and I, there's always the disclaimers, like whatever you call it, whether it's God, universe, source, infinite intelligence. Like I feel I need to say a disclaimer having a platform, but it's like it's God for me. Like I speak God, and yet I grew up Catholic and I'm non-practicing, and because there was the unwinding of, you know, all that I had to do, and you share your same story, similar story. But when did you go back to God? But like in this like rooted, grounded, like there is the divine God guiding me in this very moment, each and every day.
Just like the relationship with your body and yourself and your lover and your best friend, it is a relationship that you cultivate
Yeah.
and that you can start with. And I think for anyone that wants a relationship with God, you can also bring your grievances with God. There's a lot of, the Jewish tradition is beautiful because they have a lot of wrestling with God. You can wrestle with God. You can be like, God, why is this? God, why do you do this? God, I can't believe this. Like God sees and hears everything. So it's not like you're hiding anything from God, but it is available for you to bring an open channel with God and bring all your beef, bring why you're mad, bring why you're upset, bring why you're scared, bring why you doubt. I have a deep relationship with God, and I'm opening up my relationship with Christ a little bit more. And even I went to Christ, I was like, I'm scared. I'm scared you're gonna blow my life up. I'm scared you're gonna make me weird. I'm scared you're gonna make me like judgmental of people. I'm scared you're gonna like, and I just say it all. I'm honest about it all. That's how I feel, and that's the truth of where I'm at. And so in the relationship with God, God will honor wherever you're at. God already knows, but like God is like, bring it to him, the creator, the sustainer of life. So I grew up Catholic, and in the Catholic Church, I just felt, there's beautiful elements of ritual and magic and all of that, but it's just it felt for me a lot disconnected from God. I personally feel like the Catholic Church has a lot of gateways to God, but doesn't allow you direct access. And that's sort of what I perceive to be a true crime of our generation, to make you think that you have to go through a pastor or a church or a priest or all of these things to get to God. God
Yes.
is with you, in you, all around you all the time. And so I had an amazing coach that I worked with that really was deeply rooted in faith. And when he brought God into our container, I was like really hesitant. I was like pissed, kind of. I was like angry and kind of mad. And I was like, what is he doing? He's pressuring me and he's putting this on me, and like he's trying to make me, and now all of this stuff. And in my life, I've always committed to be honest. And so in safe containers with that, I'm honest. I'm like, you're putting this on me, and I'm kind of going in, and he could hold it because he's a coach. And I just kind of just continued to say yes to being curious about allowing. And when I realized that I could create my own relationship and I could be the ownership and have agency over this connection, and when I continued to ask the question and get curious, the relationship has just developed. And again, for me, it's God. And I wanted to reclaim that almost in like a rebellious way, because I felt like the Catholic Church took that from me, where it was like, and I was like, no, actually, this is God for me. And I was calling it the universe for a while, and source, and that's completely fine, the Most High. There's probably, there's so many names for God, but I just wanted to reclaim that in my own like way, because there it has that own frequency, that energy, and felt true for me. And I think the main point is what I've found in a lot of my work, that there is no other way to be completely at peace with your life and your path and your purpose than to have a higher power. I think we humans have tried so hard to make so many things our higher power. Shopping, social media, the internet, Instagram, other people, love, friendship, kids, marriage, the church, and it does not work. The only way that we are ever going to find peace is by the peace that we can find in the knowance that there's something else here collaborating and co-creating with us.
Yes, that in itself feels like safety. And like you said, we've tried it the other way. I mean, I sure as hell have tried it the other way, and me against the world, and it does not feel good, and it doesn't go very far.
What
And
did your trying it the other way look like for you?
hustling, overworking, proving was a big one for me. And, I've shared on the podcast before, I'm a Polish immigrant, came to Canada when I was 6 years old. So there was that like scarcity, that like we have to work hard and we have to sacrifice. Like it was all those words that hold that energetic frequency of lack. And when I've surrendered, and for me, the relationship is newer in terms of God. It was universe for a long time. Like I always knew there is more, and it's not just me. And yet actually speaking God is a newer thing, and yet it feels so powerful. And even the mantra, I'm in a startup phase right now of a new product-based company, and just saying like my business is God's business. Like it's like this is my business partner, and this is why like I hold that faith and trust that whatever we create will be successful in the way that is meant to be. And like those are the mantras that I speak now. And it like I got goosebumps, like I feel it, and it's that felt energy that creates the magic and miracles.
God, I love that. And for anyone listening, it's like, what? Yeah, like you get the energy frequency of like that. Ooh, you feel it. You're like, ooh, and there is power in words, and there is a lot of imprinting and consciousness in words, and God just has its own power, and frequency. But if it is, something else for someone, that can be their thing. But it's just believing and knowing that you're not alone, and that there is purpose and meaning, and that there is something that loves you infinitely, even though we don't understand it. And I think I just felt, very lost in life. I don't know if I would say lost. I never felt a sense of like peace. I was always anxious or wanted more, knew I was here for a purpose or wanted to fill my purpose, or, just it was like more, the stress. And it's like, whoa, this isn't, I can guide and I can have desire and I can follow desire and I can serve, but ultimately like there is something bigger and better that has more awareness and love for me and my path than even I could even know, that's laying the groundwork.
Oh, and then it's so fascinating, because when peace becomes the goal, then everything else just multiplies, compounds, and there is more of the people, the opportunities, the experiences, the very things that we first desired, but actually created a barrier against. Isn't it fascinating?
Yeah, it's so funny. Again, I'll be so honest. I wish I am honoring and I know that's the truth. And this is my reminder from God for me. I wish I had that. I'm like, I'm still working in my life and creating more peace. I, it's not, you know, it's my own little version of chaos. Like, I had a party last night. My boyfriend's in town. I have my cleaners cleaning. I have, like, I'm hiding in my room. I have, like, my Lindsay's coming tonight. I have a friend coming. It's like this beautiful rhythm of people and experiences and all of that. And at times I think there's a deeper sense of peace that I do crave in my life. And I think I find that in prayer. But it is like, ooh, I know that my edge would be to really sanctify and really just clear a lot and live a lot more in devotion and slowness, probably.
But how do you do that when you are a brand, you're very successful, there's opportunities coming your way, you have, like you said, all of these things around you. Like, how do you begin to even create that?
I think what I've known to be true is that whatever I need, the I desire peace, but I'm saying that, and even I know in my body I don't really desire it right now.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that thinks I should desire it. I'm like, I peace. I'm like, I should desire that. And I'm like, actually, that doesn't feel true for me right now. So I honor that there might be a point in my life where I desire more peace to take action. I'm never going to hold something in my field if I'm not taking action on it. I'm never going to be like, I need to create peace. I need to create peace. If I truly don't feel like in this moment, that's going to happen for me. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm in a process of really building and honing in on my business. But I think when you are someone that's busy and you are someone that is a brand and has, a very, like a life that's like very big and a lot going on, your mental health and I think being decisive is very important, and you are probably amazing at this, but that creates so much peace in my life. I'll be on calls with my team and they'll be like talking about whatever, and they'll be like, what about this and this? I'm like, we're doing it here. This is what's happening. Like, this is it. I'm not spending 3 weeks wondering and looking at different options and being, even with dating, you want to be decisive. Like, I'm doing a mastermind and we're like looking at places, and they had brought a bunch of things. I'm like, we're doing it at Malibu, this one. I don't even care if you find a better option later. This is where we're doing it. So decisiveness really brings me peace. I also think that being very psychically clear with my friends. So what that means is like, there's never anything like unsaid in our field. If like last night I had friends over, one of my friends brought her dog, and I have cats. And so the dog was here with the cats, and they're kind of and the dog was kind of following my cats around, and I was like, I kind of needed the dog to chill, to defend my cats. And I was like, hey baby, can you grab your dog, da da da. And I know she got sort of sensitive. She was like, oh okay, like got sensitive. And so I just go up to her, I'm like, hey babe, nothing about you, just about the dog. I love you. I love your dog. And so it's like that moment where she's like, oh my God, I'm rejected. She doesn't love me. She's mad at me. It's like clearing it, like, nope, I see you. It's all good, can create more energy for me and more peace in my life. Because otherwise I might have been that night like, oh my God, I don't want her to think I'm mad at her. I still love her and I still love her dog. It's like, how can we be decisive in my business and then clear in my friendships?
So good. You nailed it, because for us women listening to this show, we want growth, we want expansion, we want to create big things in the world, but it's like choosing peace through what you said, decisiveness, radical honesty and communication in the moment creates so much peace. Like that energy to hold something that should just be released in the moment, because we do it to protect ourselves and protect the other, is what creates peace. And so for me, it's very similar, as like choosing peace in the moment. So if I actually choose to be busy, like being in startup phase, I'm excited to be busy. I haven't been busy for 3 years. I'm like, let's fucking go. And if anything feels out of alignment or is messing with my peace, I will not choose it. And so it's like having that ability to distinguish the difference with how it feels. But I wanted to ask you, so we talk about being fully expressed and being authentic, and you talked about going first. So going first, but also going first publicly. So for the women that are nervous, because I'm like, okay, if I speak my truth, this might cost you, cost my clients, or cost approver, cost belonging. And I asked because I went through this with COVID. I was very vocal about COVID. Like, I know who I am and I feel very passionate about
Oh,
certain
yeah.
subjects.
Mm-hmm.
But there is
Mm-hmm.
that fear of being canceled, of being judged, of being not liked or loved. Like, how do you, because you do this so well and publicly,
Mm-hmm.
how do you just stay so grounded in who you are and the truth that you hold?
I'll say two things. I think the first thing is that, I've had moments in our career where we've been public about things and it's felt like we were never canceled, but it's felt like people were really upset. They really caused a moment and a thing. And I remember having a mushroom ceremony and dying in that mushroom ceremony and be like, wow, like this version of me that was so codependent with my audience and relied on them to tell me who I was, tell me what to talk about, tell me who to interview, tell me how to feel, that defined who I was, had to die in a way. And a new part of me had to be reborn that could be more in my own energy. So honestly, it was through a really painful experience of having what felt like a lot of people very upset at us for not doing and saying what they wanted to during COVID times.
Yeah.
And I also remember during that time just really fucking in it. It was just so bad. And for someone that like deeply cares about what people think about me in one way and like defined my worth on other people and like knows that you could lose your business nowadays
Yeah.
in that way. I remember walking across my bedroom and I was like so in it. I was like, oh my God, I was walking across my bedroom and I just heard my soul, and my soul was like, you hate this, but I love it. I learned so much.
Wow.
And I just had this like, whoa. And I've had maybe 10 moments in my life where my soul was just like direct dial, like in. And I had this like expansive remembrance of like, I'm not just here to like leapfrog. Good thing, good thing, good thing. I make 1 million, I make 2 million. I have really good, I get hotter. Like life for my soul is about learning and growth and experience. And I absolutely needed to have my ass kicked to have this sense of self that I do now and to not define myself by others. And I think for anyone listening, you know, you can practice being in that in small ways. And I think people over index when they want to be social or be like online publicly or, online visibly. Like they're like, okay, I want to be fully expressed. And they get their phones and they're like, okay, I'm going to express how I feel online. You don't need to start with online. You don't need to start with the thousands or the hundreds or your family and friends through social media. There's so many times and invitations in our day-to-day life when we have the invitation to be honest.
Yeah.
Your husband says, hey babe, where do you want to go for dinner? And you're like, I don't care. Girl, where do you want to go for dinner? You know what I mean? Like
Goodbye.
say what you want for dinner. Oh, I actually, you know what? And this is the whole thing. It's going to take a pause. Oh, I don't, you know what? I really want Goop Kitchen. Would love Goop Kitchen. That's my, I'm giving myself a second to have a truth instead of the automatic not having a truth. So in small moments with your relationships, with your family, with your friends, you can have preferences at places. Even at the gym, you can be like, hey, I need this machine. Could I have it? Like being fully expressed doesn't mean I'm just getting and doing TikTok dances online. There's levels to our expression and sort of stretching our capacity in small moments to claim who you are, what you want, how you feel also counts too and leads you to a more deeper sense of trust within yourself that can then portray online more confidently and more visibly in its expression.
So good. It's like building a muscle, like
Oh,
literally.
for sure. For sure.
Becoming self-expressed is that repetition, and over
For
time, it's
sure.
like, okay, this is what I do. This is who I am. So beautiful.
I feel very lucky, but it wasn't always like that. And it's funny too, because I also, I'm like, there's so many terms in our space where I'm like, even for me, sisterhood, I'm like, there's something about it, but I'm like,
Okay.
for background. So I, in my life and my experience with women, have had very deep relationships with women and also been very hurt by women. I've had my heart broken many times by men, but almost just as many by women. I've been bullied, I've been stalked, I've been physically hurt, I've been mentally, emotionally hurt, I've been betrayed. So many different things. And so many women have similar stories of being bullied, of being rejected, of being abandoned, all of these things. So that's in this lifetime. And then there's other lifetimes, witch wound, like there's kind of multiple lifetimes of sister wounds. And it can really carry with us. And I think I'll never forget doing the business with Lindsay, because she was someone that I met and I knew right away that she was going to be almost a missing puzzle piece in my life, and someone that I would do something with and create with. And we were probably 6 years into the podcast, maybe 5. And she goes, "Why don't you trust me?" And
Wow.
I just, I didn't. I didn't trust her. I didn't trust my sister. I didn't trust my best friends. I didn't trust my mom. I didn't trust anybody. And it just really hit me where I really had this issue with women and trusting women. I was in deep relationship with them, but it was very surface. If you act this way, if I act this way, we will stay in relationship. If one of you changes, if one of you changes your opinion, perspective, or whatever, that might cause an issue and we might, drift. And I didn't have a lot of experience having rupture or having deep conversation with women in a way that was, sometimes tough and brought stuff up.
Yeah.
And she became that person for me where I could really flex the muscle of being in conscious relationship. And she became my first experience of trusting a woman and maybe trusting anybody. And we worked through so much. And what it looks like to have true sisterhood for me is having a lot of freedom of expression and soul path. And so a lot of the women in my life are powerful entrepreneurs, and some of them are moms, and some of them live in Ohio, some of them live in Chicago. They're all different types, but we are very honoring of our soul's path. And so I don't want them to be entrepreneurs. I don't need them to be spiritual in the same way I am. We have like different journeys, and I honor where they are and they honor where I am. I need to be honored in my own experience. And then we also commit to the integrity of bringing things up and of working through things together in relationship. And so what does that look like? Even the simple example I shared with my friend yesterday where, I noticed she had a shift in her energy. And so I noticed that I love her, and I, say something and bring it up, and we just clear it right away in honesty and in truth. And it has been like the most transformative thing, because when you can fully be seen and loved by someone, and what that means is not just when you're on stage and I'm being powerful and cool and I'm being amazing. It's like, no, when I feel scared and when I feel mad at you and you're annoying me and I'm annoying you and all of these things, like that is deep relationship. And I've realized that the more I can be with discomfort at times, to be honest about it and to own my part, the better my relationships have been. So sisterhood as the last part is the most beautiful healing thing. I work with women, I hold retreats, I do group coaching. Seeing women with women and how they heal them is bar none the most powerful thing on the planet. And it does require you to show up and to choose. And for every woman that's listening, I'm sure they're all conscious people on their path of spiritual growth and awakening. And that means, just like your romantic relationships, your friendships will be a part of your spiritual path and your spiritual journey, and provide you with the medicine that you need should you choose it.
Yeah, so good. It brought me back to, it was an interesting stage of my life, like when I sold my company end of 2022. There was that identity, and there was the persona and the accolades and success, etc. But it was interesting to witness who was around when I then went into the void, the unknown, the Anna, the non-entrepreneur, the uncertainty. And I think that for me was hurtful and healing at the same time, right? We talk about that the and of it.
Yeah.
And so that allowed me to go deeper with the women that were there and holding space for me in the messy. And the messy it's vulnerable, it's uncertain, you're not vibing high and in your best. And the people that can hold space for you in that space, like for me, like that's the keepers. That's who
Yeah.
stays when we're riding private jets in the future.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, so many of us, we want a relationship without performance. We
Yes.
want a relationship where we can show up messy and imperfect. And I even had a friend last night was like, I am not feeling that good. Like, I don't feel happy. I'm sort of off. And I had to talk myself into coming tonight to your house because I didn't feel like I had the good energy to come. And it's like, whoa, like that is robbing people of the opportunity to see you and know you deeply and intimately and truthfully, and to love you. And the more we can love ourselves in that way, the more we can love others. But I think what you shared is beautiful, because I think a lot of women have had that experience, and it can be really tough and really lonely but it also clarifies and crystallizes the truth of like the people in your life and really gives you an opportunity to like solidify and create like a secure attachment with them. That can be so healing.
So healing. And I also like, I'm a firm believer that when we create space, the ones that are in resonance and who are meant to come through in this next chapter of life will. And so, yeah, that always felt like a warm blanket. Is there anything that I've missed that you'd love to share with the audience before we do some rapid fire?
No, this has been, I mean, I literally, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for that. You're an incredible host and interviewer. Like your energy, your tone, your flow, your depth, like you're incredible. And so I've had a beautiful time and I'm excited for our rapid fire. I want to commit to making a rapid fire. Sometimes I'll be like, so I
What I
want
was
to truly
just like.
give you rapid fire.
Thank you. First and foremost, I will receive that. I appreciate it so much. Okay. If you had to rebuild almost 30 from scratch, knowing what you know today, what's the first thing you would do?
Gosh. So building almost 30 from scratch, it would be, I don't know, the name almost 30 is amazing, but it's also our curse. It's our blessing and our curse. So I don't know if I would do the name.
That's the one thing, like, I love branding marketing that I was actually very curious about is like, okay, but what about when you're turning 40? Like, I'm 41 now. I'm
No,
like, oh, it feels young
no, I
for
know.
me, you know? And I was a follower at the beginning, OG days.
Uh-huh. No, we'll have people that will pitch and they'll be like, sorry, I can't come on. I'm almost 60. And we're like, no, it's just an eight. It's just a number. It's a vibration. It's about, you know what I mean? And we're just like, oh, so it's the biggest gift where it like is a thing, but I don't know if I
Okay,
would.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you. A season of your life that made sense only in hindsight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think only in hindsight, looking back, I think my marriage, I think getting married, the season of my marriage and how that just, we needed to take it to that to really see and to really clarify and crystallize that it wasn't meant to be and that we weren't aligned and that it wasn't good. And I think that sort of intensity of the choice of that container where I didn't really understand it at the time because it was so painful and I felt so confused. I didn't know if this is what it should feel like or not. I've never been married before. I didn't see healthy marriage. So I didn't understand, but now I completely see that it was so purposeful because it put us in the pressure cooker to really make moves and to choose. And I'm so grateful for that.
Wow, beautiful. One thing you no longer tolerate energetically.
Oh, passive aggressiveness. I just like when someone is like kind of just like whispering under their breath, like, oh, I wish we could have done that. Like, I just am so unavailable for that. I'm like, what do you want? Like, like already getting in my vibe. I'm like, I
Decide.
can't because there's a communication and then there's an energy of passive aggressiveness that
No, not here for it. Amazing. A practice that's a non-negotiable for you.
um prayer. Prayer.
Someone you'd love to have brunch with.
Sometimes I don't want to meet my heroes, so I'm like,
Oh, I know,
and
right?
I'm like, you just stay over there and like let's just like enjoy life. Um, my boyfriend. I'd love
Oh,
to have brunch with that man.
so
Love it.
sweet. What
Yeah.
are you manifesting right now?
I'm manifesting right now a team that can just be my next level team. I've loved my team over the years. They're amazing. And I've realized that I've been compromising a lot
Yeah.
in sort of skill sets and potential. And I'm ready to have a team that is just dialed and next level because I feel like I'm bringing next level recently. And so I really want a team to meet me.
So good. Your energy is going to attract that and quickly. I feel it for you. And finally, what's your definition of prosperity?
Oh, I love this. Prosperity is just a prosperous life. I don't know why, but this is coming through. It's almost like the gifts that you have inside, like of who you are, just experienced on the outside. So it's like the manifestation of your gifts and your dharma. It's just so prosperous. It's like bringing everything, all of the juice of who you are and your experience to the world just feels so prosperous to me because you're in the expression of it, you're in the alchemy of it, you're in the exploration. Just so beautiful.
So beautiful. I would love the honor for you to close off this container since you opened it. That would be so beautiful.
My dream. Oh, thank you, God, so, so much for bringing us together for this beautiful conversation, for the magic and the alchemy, and for having this message just feel resonant and true. Thank you for being present for us in this process, for grounding our bodies and our energy enough to provide insight and wisdom that can hopefully support the amazing, wonderful children of yours that are listening to this show. Please just allow any energy, any thought forms, any, thing that doesn't serve to just dissolve and leave, and allow whatever feels true to land, and just sending blessings on both of our paths today and for many years to come. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Krista. Where can we all find you?
You can find me at It's Krista. So it's ITSKRISTA.com or Instagram. And I host retreats. I do one-on-one coaching. I'm doing like fully expressed immersions this year to help people really find and hone their voice. And then I have a retreat in October in Italy called True Essence, which is really magical.
Okay. Is that the next one coming up is October then? Okay, let's link it up. I'd love to link it up. That's so beautiful. Thank you for your time, your gifts, your energy, your presence, all of it. I'm super grateful for you.
This was a dream. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Prosperity Playground podcast. If this conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts so you never miss your weekly activation. If you enjoyed the conversation, please rate and review. Your feedback helps us reach more souls just like you who are ready to calibrate to their most prosperous life. Know someone who needs this frequency boost? Share the episode to Instagram and tag me at _Anna Lozano so we can grow our energetically aligned community together. And please remember, true prosperity is about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Start today. I'm Anna Lozano, and this is the Prosperity Playground. See you on the next activation.